You're listening to the Commercial Finance Podcast by Lee Chandler, where we discuss industry insights, tips about lending, capital finance, business acquisitions.
The worst investment you can have is cash.
Real estate acquisitions.
Your financial advice depends on who you are.
And everything in between. This is the Commercial Finance Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome. We are excited. I'm excited. Hank, are you excited? Oh no.
I'm a little ambivalent this morning.
Okay. So, something I think is pretty interesting, as you guys can see here, we're talking about an article that was sent to us a couple days ago, if not probably yesterday, right? Thank you so much.
Sunday. I want to say Sunday evening.
Okay, maybe Sunday evening. All right, so a couple of days ago.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, we want to share this article with you guys. I want to put the link in the description, et cetera, and you guys can also, look at it as well. But this is pretty interesting. So, Hank, when you read this article, or I guess when you saw the article come across and you opened it up and you saw this page, right? Just where we are right now. Tell us your thoughts and then describe what you interpreted to the audience.
Well, at first, I'm going like, okay, somebody sent me something, and so I said, okay, I'll go ahead, I'll humor whomever, and I clicked on it, and I saw this, and I'm going, okay, different incomes, okay, all right, fine, we all have different incomes. But then all of a sudden, I started to focus in on the, not the facial characteristics, because that doesn't bother me. It was the income level for each of these people. And I'm going like, interesting. So I put it aside. And then I went back and I picked it up. And then I started to read sort of the and I'm going to call it the lifestyle of the four different people. And that's when it hit me. I think, and I'm going to make a generalization that people are going to, they'll challenge me, which is okay. I like being challenged. But for the individual who makes $1 million, his life is good. He can pay cash for anything because he's making $300,000 plus a year, some crazy amount. He owns his own business, this, that, and the other, and he can basically do anything that he wants to do, and he is comfortable. And he has no idea. The thought never crosses his mind of going without. He could care. He doesn't worry about where he's going to get $4.17 to pay for a gallon of gas. He's not worrying about whether or not his kid's going to go to private. He doesn't worry about any of that. His lifestyle is in place. And he's got savings and he's got retirement. He's good. I'm going to go to the other end of the spectrum where someone is almost homeless, destitute, making $7.35 an hour. And of that $7.35 an hour, he's spending $100 a week on groceries. And he's worried about where his next meal is going to come from. He's concerned about whether or not his kids have shoes to wear or clothes to wear, or he doesn't know when he's going to make his next car note, all of those things. And he's wishing, what if I were a millionaire? And the millionaire is not even thinking about what if I were poor. And then the individuals in the meantime, the 250,000, that's a person who's upper middle class. And the person who's making $53,000 is average income for a family. And then you've got someone who's on the poverty line. And normally, those are the four categories of people that we deal with. There's a fifth category, though. And that is the ultra wealthy. Well, there's the mega wealthy, then the ultra wealthy. And those guys, I think for those guys, they think about being the richest person, not just in America or in their hometown or what have you, being the richest in the world. And here's the crazy thing about it: you got a title of being the richest, but you can't take one dime with you to heaven or hell. So I don't know whether that's where you wanted me to go with this, Leland, but it caused me to think, because I know what it's like to have to really, really, really budget. The poverty guy doesn't think about a budget. He's just thinking about his next meal, and he doesn't have one. And the 53,000 person still has to budget because he's got to really, really manage and massage. The 250 person is still managing and massaging and trying to determine which investments to do and whether or not he'll be able to pay for his kids' college. All of those things are happening. It's a different type of mindset, a different type of mentality, a different type of strategy, a different frame. It's a different framework from which we are playing this checkerboard or this chess game of life. And then the millionaire, hey, he wants a new car, he pays cash for it. And if he wants another new car, he pays cash for it. If he wants a summer home someplace, he can basically pay cash for it. So I think it's aside from the struggles that they have, I'm sitting back and trying to figure out what type of night do they have. We know what kind of life they have, but what kind of night do they have? And I'm gonna let that one sink in for a little bit.
When I first got this article, I opened it. I pressed the link, and when I saw the headline, and I saw the four individuals that are in front of us, I immediately, it did not cross my mind one bit that the individual who's earning $250,000, a quarter of a million, it did not cross my mind that that person did that by having a job. The individual earning $1 million a year, it did not cross my mind again that he was earning a job, that he had a job.
Mm.
The individual with $53,000 a year, I immediately thought that person had a career. The poverty line, I believe that I immediately thought that person had a job as well, but not a career per se, but a job where
Okay.
someone works hourly. So what I found was what I thought was, so that was initially what I thought. As I went through and read all four individuals, and they asked them all the same questions. Everyone gave a different response, on and on. What I found very interesting was that only one out of the four actually views retirement or actually thinks about retirement on an ongoing basis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe let me say a little better. Only one of these four gentlemen during their interview mentioned a 401k.
You're right.
And what's interesting is that, as I know that yesterday in our discussion, at the very end of our discussion, we talked about a lady who retired at 50, had to come back at 53, yada, yada. And I gave the example about the average individual, the average household income of $53,000.
Mm-hmm.
How that equates to after taxes to being about 33,000, right? Or 31,000. So it was interesting just to find out that only one of these men actually viewed the 401k as an end all be all. Now, what's crazy as well is the gentleman who earns 53,000 a year. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say he lives in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
He lives in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he lives in Brooklyn. At the time of this writing, or the time of this interview, housing prices in Brooklyn, yes, for a small property was $500,000. Now, less than 10 years later, that same property is worth $2 million. So if he wasn't able to, quote unquote, afford the home that was $500,000, he's not going to be able to afford the home that's $2.5 or $3 million.
Absolutely.
Right. He mentioned that he would love to stay in Brooklyn. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. Not with the household income of $53,000. So what I also found very interesting is between the four of these gentlemen, the gentleman on the poverty line, he was like, "Look, I can't even think about retirement. That doesn't even sound realistic to me." 53 said, "Hey, retirement sounds great, and I'm steady putting away in my 401k." The two men on the left, the million and quarter million, when retirement was brought up, the man to the far left says, "I don't plan on necessarily stop working per se, and that's because I plan on having assets that I can still be somewhat active in up until the age of 90." If I'm not mistaken, we find exactly where that is. I don't want to misquote either one of these gentlemen, either one of these men, and give them a disservice. But he was like, "Look, I plan on having my assets work for me, and I plan on being somewhat active or active enough to where I can still do this correctly." There we go. Until I'm 90. There it is.
Okay.
He says, "I want to be done with that in five to 10 years." He's talking about his startup company that he just started. He said, "But as far as working, investing in real estate, things of nature, you can do that until you're 90." Okay. So what that lets me know is, for anyone who has ever been who has ever had a CPA and you own real estate, you'll notice that you get different tax benefits by being an active investor versus being a passive investor. As long as you qualify by a certain amount of activities or hours per year, you qualify as a full-time investor. Doesn't mean that that's your full-time job. Just means you qualify as a full-time investor, and therefore you get larger tax benefits. Okay. So that was a little nugget that I'm not sure that most people who were reading the interview probably caught on. The next thing is when he mentioned, or when they asked about, "Hey, what about college for the children?" He said, "Hey, listen, I set up a trust with my attorney on behalf of my children.
Yep.
And based on this trust, there's different milestones in this trust, including volunteering in the community, certain GPAs, and being a good citizen, in which they will be able to receive more money out of the trust." So that also lets us know that this individual understood the importance of establishing and having a trust, preserving wealth, and making sure that it's maintained at least past one or two generations, right? All the other interviews, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I mean, if we go a little further, the next gentleman with the retirement question, he's like, "Retirement? No. I'm more concerned about me saving enough money so I can purchase a income producing apartment." He was like, "Look, that right there is going to be retirement." He says, "Hey, in 10 years time, I want to have $50,000 a month from apartment buildings and another $50,000 a month from the real estate business. It says $1.5 million per year is the goal. 1.5 million is the goal." Okay. So when they asked about retirement, when they asked about future plans with money, that was the mindset. When they asked the individual who qualifies as, I guess, would it be median income, or we know this median income, but someone who qualifies as quote unquote middle class. The middle class gentleman says, "Hey, when it comes to retirement, I am looking." He says, "Yes, I am. Our company offers a 401k plan, and our union offers one. So I have two separate running retirement plans. Got to do it. I don't know how much is in there at the moment."
Wow.
this went back in, the other day, Hank, you and I are talking, like, hey, a lot of people choose to invest into those 401k plans, IRA, whatever, or they choose to give their money to someone else to have them do something with it. They can't tell you what the heck is going on with it, right? And this was just a prime example where they don't know what's in it. They can't tell you the dollar amount that's there. And their plan for that money is really to have someone else do something with it that they just hope is going to be better.
That's right. That's right.
So go ahead, Hank. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying you're right. And but I think that for the most part, people do the best that they can with what they have to work with. They they have a certain knowledge base, but many of them stop planning. What's that cliche? It's not that people plan to fail; they fail to plan. And I think I was talking when I was in high school. My goal was to just graduate from high school and get a job. When I was in college, my goal was to graduate from college and get a job. The idea of being a millionaire didn't enter my mind because I didn't know any. The idea of making $100,000 a year in a job, I didn't think about it because there were no jobs available for me at the time that would do that. So eventually, whatever those aspirations were will start to fade if there isn't a vehicle, a vehicle that could conceivably allow us to go beyond our mindset, our thinking, our plan. And and I think if we're not hanging around with the right people, if we're not thinking outside the box, if we're not thinking what if we're not finding a coach or a mentor who resembles what it is that you think you might want to be, then our perspective, no, our thought process is limited. Our perspective is limited, and we just try to find a job and stay there until retirement age, whatever the heck that means. Okay. And that's why I thank you every day. Retired, I don't know what that means because I'm still active. I'm still scratching and sniffing, trying to ensure that the American dream that I heard of when I was a child becomes more and more a reality each and every day. Hang on a second for me, please.
No problem. One thing I want to add as Hank's doing that is I know that Marcus and Hank are going to have a talking session in reference to active income and passive income.
Oh yeah, we are.
And yesterday I hinted to the audience that both active and passive are necessary. Now I want to give people another clarification. Would we all agree that Warren Buffett is wealthy?
Yes, mega wealthy.
Okay. Would we all also agree that Warren Buffett, to some capacity, whether it's a few hours or a full day, is active in his primary company of Berkshire Hathaway?
Yeah, he's not just sitting on it.
He's not sitting there, right?
Right.
Okay. Would we all agree that Jeff Bezos is wealthy?
Ultra wealthy.
Well, we also all agree that although Jeff Bezos a couple years ago stepped down as CEO, but he is still an active member per the board for Amazon.
Yes, he is.
Okay. So again, we all agree that Mark Zuckerberg is wealthy. I think we kind of get the point. And the point is, even when you have multiple assets, you don't have to necessarily clock in every single day or work to the bone, that kind of thing. But there needs to be some type of activity, even if you're paying yourself $1 salary. Hint, hint, hint. Even if someone's paying someone themselves $1 salary, there needs to be something of active income, because the active income is what takes that burden of the taxation.
Correct.
The income from the assets are going to flow to you freely or freer than that of your active income.
Yeah.
And only two of the four men here understood that enough. And you can tell that based on the answers that they gave.
You know, that was a powerful analogy, Leland. And if we don't know, touch, scratch, sniff, feel somebody that's doing much better than we, then we think we're at the top of the heap in our own little clique. And I remember playing, I didn't play high school sports, I didn't play college sports, but when I learned to play sports, initially nobody wanted to play with me. But as I learned the game, then I wanted to play with people who were better at it than I. So I started to associate with a different crowd of people. Same thing about success in life. Okay. Now, if like the first guy, again, it doesn't talk about how he got his start. He talks about where he is. But if he were the recipient of a trust fund, and in that environment, he understands the idea of active and passive income. He understands traditional versus alternate investments. He understands that. He understands that you have to continue to prime the pump. That retirement per se is a misnomer, because the guy who makes $7, he's looking at minimum wage. He's looking at 65. There's this magic number of 65, and that's his goal.
Yeah.
And as we've said, at 65, you're now qualified for social insecurity. He might get $1,500 a month, maybe 12, maybe 11. Not a lot of money. And he, at that point, he's saying, I wish I had. But the guy on the far left, when he gets to 65, he says, I still got 15, 20 more years to live, and let me continue to increase the size of my nest egg. So he's still looking at ways, creative ways, to increase his lot in life.
Yeah.
Only because he has experience, he has a proven track record, okay? And he probably hangs around with a group of people who sits down and says, hey, listen, Leland, man, I ran across this thing that might be of interest to you. Hey, listen, I'm going to invite you over to my house or my office. I've got some friends, and we're thinking about doing X, Y, Z, and maybe you want to be involved. Do you think the guy's making minimum wage has anyone that's inviting him to such a strategy session?
No way.
No way. So it like I said, initially when I got this, I just sort of kind of read it and clicked on. Then I went back and I'm going like, whoa. But that's life, Leland. That is life. So I just say that wherever you are on the spectrum, there's always more. And I'm going to give an analogy, and then I'm going to hush. I have a friend. He's passed now, but I had a friend And about 20 years ago, this guy was making, and I would say he's in the wealthy category. He was making $100,000 a day. Now people say, well, you got to be kidding. Anyway, he had a yacht. He owned his own business. He had a yacht. He had a plane. And he said to me, he says, Hank, he said, I can afford these things in life. He said, but no matter how much money I make, I will never have the largest yacht nor the largest plane. And that's not an arena that I want to be playing in. So he gave up his yacht and he gave up his plane. So I say that to say at every rung of the ladder of success, there's a certain competitive nature that we all are faced with. But we can't let our greed quotient, okay, exceed our capacity to fulfill whatever that desire is.
Absolutely. So in closing, here's a few things I want everyone to take away from this, and especially if anyone's just hopping on. Number one, having a network or being able to network with other individuals is very important.
Amen.
We all have things that we don't know. And what you want to be able to do is to put yourself in the presence or in the room with other people that know more than you do. And be okay with inquiring about that knowledge. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is understand that there's a difference between active income and passive income.
Amen.
And to truly have that wealth and time freedom, you need both. Now, if Mark Zuckerberg pays himself a salary of $1 and he lives in Silicon Valley, right, where taxes are one of the highest that there are in the state of California, could he take a vacation from his company or on behalf of his company, take a vacation for a month? Sure, he could do that. And he would still receive his $1 salary. Okay?
I'm sorry. It's not funny. I think it's ironic that people don't understand that. That's all.
Yeah, and hey, we're trying to help. You guys have any questions? Please let us know. Put in the chat, message us on LinkedIn or Instagram, whatever else. But that's something that's important to know. So active and passive income play a great role. Number 3, alternative investments, alternative assets is where you need to be, period. Now, something that's important to notice between the two gentlemen here on the left, the two here on the left, is that in addition to all of their other investments, they understood the importance of the tax benefits of owning real estate. What you'll notice is that right here is another great clue. He mentions, hey, I'm a homeowner and I have purposely paid off my mortgage. Now, we don't know how and when, or, he paid it off, but his mortgage is paid off. What that lets us know, though, is, and this is what, and Hank, let me know if I'm wrong, okay? What most people do is that some people use their homes as nest eggs themselves. That in the event that something crazy happens, they maintain their credit enough to where they're able to then refinance that property, their home primarily, in case they need to inject their business with cash. Okay. Another clue is he mentioned, so just think about this. Many of us are taught, like through Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey, et cetera, that if you want to live, you have to survive, basically. In other words, you need to cut out every single expense that you can, and just, if you can live off of ramen noodles,
Yeah, bare bones mentality.
bare bones, yeah, then do it, right?
Hmm.
But here's what's interesting to me: the food bill, the mortgage, et cetera. These things are actually very similar across all four right here.
That's correct.
So what that lets you know is that as far as the expenses between all four incomes, they're oddly very, very, very similar. Let me show you guys real quick. He says, "Hey, we spend around 1,200 a month in the grocery bill, right?" You go to the next gentleman. He says, "Hey, when it comes to the groceries," he said, "I would say it's about 200 a week." Now, 200 a week, 2 times 4, basic arithmetic, is 800. All right, that means that there's only $400 difference between someone who's eating based on the income of $250,000 versus four times their income. If we go down to the third man right here, he says, "Hey, we're doing about 150 per month at BJ's." And then he said, then in addition to that, I would arrange it weekly grocery bill. Our weekly grocery bill is 100 to 125. So you take 150 with BJ's, you take 100 times 4, which is 400. It basically ends up being the same right here, the same amount. Okay, what am I getting at? Regardless of how much a person is trying to cut at their expenses, right? Whittle away at their expenses to do whatever. All that means nothing if you're not taking that additional money and purchasing an asset. Because the biggest expense that everyone has that has a salary or some type of earned income, your biggest expense is going to be Uncle Sam. And the best way to offset that expense is by owning alternative investments, such as investment real estate, such as having ownership in businesses, et cetera, et cetera. When this man gets his income here, because he's a business owner, he writes off he has so many deductions. So he's able to keep more of that money.
Legal deduction.
Legally. Then he lets you know that they give 6% of their money away to charity, which is an additional what, Hank?
A deduction.
Deduction. It's another tax write-off. Okay. This individual here is a real estate agent. So what does that mean that he is, Hank?
He's
self-employed.
He's self-employed. Some work for a company, but they are probably 1099 guys. So self-employed.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's self-employed. That lets you know that as his company earns income, he pays Uncle Sam at the end of the year or the end of the quarter, based on how well he's doing. And then he's still able to have additional deductions for his companies.
Yep.
Right? That means he's able to keep more money. Because if you think about it, the expenditures for these guys is not all that different. This man's living in Miami, he's paying $2,000 a month for rent. This man's living in Brooklyn, he's paying $1,000 a month for rent. There's not a huge difference. That's not a huge difference. It's not like one person's paying $10,000 and then one person's paying $3,000. We're talking $1,000 difference. There's not much difference here. What's happening is that this individual here, his employee salary or wages, before he even gets a hold of it, a third of it is being taken away from taxes. And it's being taken away because he's not able to invest, or he's choosing, or he doesn't know to invest in assets.
And the operative word was no.
He does not know.
K-N-O-W. No. Because go ahead, buddy. I'll say this. I'll save this. Go ahead.
But those who are listening, you now know that if you choose to invest in assets, it's going to lower your tax liability that will allow you to earn more money over time. And it becomes a great snowball effect over and over and over again. Okay. Hey, what were you going to say?
I was going. My dad had a third grade education, but he was brilliant. He was uneducated but highly intelligent. And he says, son, if you know better, you should do better. And because we are educating people, we're informing people, we're saying that the doors of opportunity are there. They are unlocked. All you have to do is knock, turn the knob, and walk in. But when you walk in, you need to walk in with an understanding of, hey, out of the chute, I want to make $1,000,000. No, you just want to do better. Create a plan, okay, and then stick to the plan. And as you start to receive a certain amount of success with that plan, you can modify the plan, okay. But if you can't, like the $7 guy, he didn't have a budget, okay. What need is that to have a budget, because it'll be blown every week, you know. So Leland, man, I wish when I was your age, I knew what I know now. But because I consider myself somewhat a late bloomer, I hitched my wagon to an early riser, and I'm blessed behind the process.
Amen to that, sir. Amen to that. Let me say this for you guys real quick, and please hear me out. This Thursday, we're having a live event. You guys can come and ask any questions. And I thought about changing the title of this event, Hank, from investing in foreclosures to how anyone can stop how you can play your role in stopping the foreclosure tsunami, right? Something along those lines. Because what's going to happen later on this year is the people that are on the left-hand side of this article, they'll be able to do things like pass a trust over or assign the trustees to someone else of a property. They'll be able to walk away from the business, allow the business to get it foreclosed on and walk away unscathed. Whereas the people on the right-hand side of this article, because they don't have this knowledge and they're not using these tools properly, they're going to be the ones that are in need of other investors like yourself and I to give them options and opportunities to get out of their situation. The gentleman that earns $53,000 a year, he's following instructions that he was told was the path to freedom. He was told that he should put his money into the 401k. He's told that he should purchase a property, or he was told that he should purchase a home to live in, right? The other two gentlemen, they're looking at this from the mindset of having a trust, having an assets, having income producing assets. So the foreclosure tsunami is not. They're not. Those guys are going to be on the shores. Matter of fact, those guys will be on mountaintops. The people that are in need of your help, and this is a way for you to help someone while you're also helping yourself. Okay, they're in need of information. They don't know there are options available, and this is the perfect timing, perfect opportunity for anyone who is listening right now to be that beacon of hope for someone else. And so in the live event on Thursday, we're going to walk you all through that process. We're going to show you how to find these individuals, how to help them, how to position yourself correctly so that it's a win-win scenario for them and also for you. You're going to be able to save someone from foreclosure. You're also in the same method going to be able to grow your assets so that you can have tax deductions, so you can earn more money. And so we're having that this Thursday. So with that being said, we appreciate it. Hank, any closing statements before we log out?
Excuse me. The only thing, and we've talked about mindset a couple times, and a lot of times people think about ability or know-how, or we talk about if only. So all of the excuses that we have that have guided our life to this point will start to dissipate, will go out the window. So a question that I will ask the audience. I think the life expectancy for the average American is the late 70s, like 78 to 84. So whatever your age is right now, whatever that age is, until age 84 or 85 plus, my question to you is simple. It's a two-part question. Do you want to continue to live the way that you're living? Or do you want to change that and have a better life for yourself and your family? And if you want a better life, then you need to change something, and we can help you to do that. That's it.
We'll see you guys on a live event. Talk to you soon.
Hey, what's up, guys? Leland Baptist here, and I wanted to give you guys an awesome opportunity. So if you are a business owner, if you're an investor, and guess what you're going to need? You're going to need a bank account to house all that money, right? Passive income and active income. So if you're looking for a bank account, one of my suggestions is for you to look at North One Bank. North One Bank is a virtual online bank account. I know you're thinking, I thought about it too, like, man, how am I going to initiate wires? Well, you do it literally from your home. No more going to the bank and having to sign off as you transfer money from one area to the other, or you wire things from one company to the other, right? All you have to do is go to lelandbaptist.com/North1. That's lelandbaptist.com/North, NORTH1, ONE. Set up your free account, and because you use that special link, you are going to get $75 when you open your account. They're literally going to pay you for that. Now, what's great about North One is that you can utilize it anywhere. It's virtual banking, and there's no issues, no additional fees necessary. So if you're a business owner, or you're looking to open up another account for your business or for your investment accounts, try it out. Go to lelandbaptist.com/North1. You'll be happy that you're there.